Yes, in today's class, we shall explore more on language and its literary nuances from the paper Introducing Literature, Module 1. Okay, so in that we have already seen what is syntax. Syntax is the arrangement of words in a sentences, and we have to give more focus on the two elements. First, that we already discussed on transitive, intransitive, and intransitive verbs. So here we are have a discussion on the verb phrase. So verb phrase we have already seen transitive and intransitive, ditransitive verbs, and now we shall have a look on adjuncts and phrasal verbs. So these are the things you have already have gone in your school days, and we have a discussion on see on what is an adjunct and what is a phrasal verb, and with that particular matter we will discuss the already discussed chapter, which is Eyes of the Cat by Ruskin Bond, and another short story which is A Death of a Clerk by Anton Chekhov. So before that we shall see what is an adjunct. So the pronunciation goes like adjunct, adjunct. Okay, so this is a thing added to something else as a supplementary rather than an essential part, and it is something that if we remove the particular element from a sentence, the sentence can be complete. So there is a supplementary. Okay, it is not an essential part in a sentence, but it's only an optional part in a sentence which gives a clarity, more clarity or more information on that particular sentence only. Okay, for further analysis, we shall get like adjuncts can be added to clauses with any type of a verb, and they are usually adverb phrases. So we are dealing with the verb phrases here, right? So adjuncts are usually like adverb phrases, like prepositional phrases, or NP, noun phrases. So more than one of them can be added to a particular sentence. We can use two noun phrases in a sentence, prepositional phrases in a sentence. It doesn't have any rule that we should use only one type of phrasal verb phrases in a sentence, that is adjuncts in a sentence. Okay, and we shall see examples in from some sentences like we have a lot many kind of adjuncts like time adjuncts that is dealing with the question when, and manner adjunct in which deals with this question like how, and where place adjunct. So the time adjunct that dealt with when he arrived yesterday. Okay, she left when he arrived. Yes, so he arrived yesterday. That is a time adjunct that gives us a clear view on when he arrived. She left when he arrived. She left when he arrived. Okay, so next we have manner adjunct that is dealt with the question how. So we will get an answer to the how while we adding this adjunct, like she learned quickly, she sings like an angel, and the place adjunct were he walks here, he lost his dog in the woods, in the woods. That is word adjunct. Okay, so adjuncts are basically gives us an understanding on how it happened, when it had happened, and why it happened, and where did it happen. Okay, so this is something we are dealt with verb phrases. So you might have a question like, what is a verb phrase? We haven't dealt with a verb phrase earlier. Okay, what is a verb phrase? A verb phrase is a combination of an auxiliary verb, also known as a helping verb, and a main verb. So there will be the mandatory thing in a sentence is a verb. So where we have a main verb, and there are verbs like auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, like they are helping the main verb to do an action more clearly. So this verb phrase is a combination of all this, and if a sentence which has got a main verb, auxiliary verb, and helping verb, so that verbs together we are calling as a verb phrase. It doesn't have only main verb in a sentence, it may have a phrasal verbs in a sentence, auxiliary verbs in a sentence, and other kind of helping verbs in a sentence. So together all these verb things are called as verb phrase in a sentence. Those are the verb phrase. Okay, for example, he has broken up with Nikki. He has broken up with Nikki. So that's we have a phrasal verb. The she might love me again. So there is we have modal auxiliary verb. The I have been waiting for a long time. Okay, so helping verb. There we could have won the match. Helping auxiliary verb. The I have been teaching English for 5 years. Helping auxiliary verb. The we might have been doing it wrong, and there is an auxiliary verb and modal auxiliary verb the. So it is we have seen that love, waiting, one, teaching, doing, these are the main verbs. So say there are other elements which are helping to make the sentence more clear. Okay, so there we have different combinations of verb phrases like two verbs together. So that is auxiliary verb plus action verb. That is, here we have might love, might love, two verbs, that is the auxiliary verb might and action verb love, and three verbs, two auxiliary verb plus action verb, like two auxiliary verb, which are they? Have been, I have been waiting for a long time. Have and been were the auxiliary verbs, and the action verb or the main verb is wait. Okay, and I have been waiting, and I have been teaching again. I have been teaching, have and been plus teaching. Teaching is the teach is the main verb. So three verbs are there, and four verbs in the sentence. We might have been doing. Okay, that's a long one. So four verbs, the three auxiliary verb plus one action verb or the main verb in the sentence. We might have been doing it wrong. Might have and been were auxiliary verbs, and doing do the main verb of the sentence. So this is how a sentence will be patterned, formulated. So we can't formulate a sentence like this, or a simple constructions will be there. So together this is known as a verb phrase. Okay, verb phrase is a verb that has more than one word. The people are telling stories. We will eat dinner at 6 tonight. So a verb phrase contains a main verb and helping verb. What is a main verb? The main verb shows action. The people are telling stories. We will eat dinner at 6 tonight. So in this sentence, the people are and telling are the verb phrase here, and telling is the main verb. Another sentence of we will eat dinner at 6 tonight. Here we have the verb phrase like will eat, in which eat is the main verb. And in the other pattern of verb phrase, we have a helping verb. A helping verb shows the time of the action, in which we have a present, past, and future helping verbs. And present we have am, is, and are. And past we have was, were, has, have, and had. In future tense we have a helping verb, we have will. Okay, for example, in the sentence like people, the same sentence, the people are telling stories. In another sentence, we will eat dinner at 6 tonight. So likewise we have seen the main verb is tell and eat in the earlier sentences. Here we have the helping verbs like the people are here is the helping verb, and will, the future helping verb, is the another auxiliary or the helping verb. We will eat dinner at 6 tonight. Okay, so what is a verb? So we know that verb as words that denote action and states of being. So that is something that denoting an action. So a verb phrase consists of a verb plus any auxiliary verb that will be like a particle, it will be like a modifier, and complements and object. So, and generally in traditional grammar we will be discussing on an adjunct adverbial is a word phrase or clauses that modifies or describes, which is something that giving us more information on that subject. An anti clause by providing additional information about it may be about I already told you like what, where, how, and when. Okay, it's about time, it's about place, manner, condition, purpose, reason, result, and concession. So verb and verb phrase sometimes function as adjuncts adverbials in English. So this is how we are calling like adjuncts, so which is giving us more clarity on time, okay, manner, all these things. And we will have more examples here. Dancing, Maggie broke her ankle. Sam found a loose wallet walking to the store. Running on the ice, the child slipped and fell. To bake cookies, begin with butter, sugar, and flour. She opened the window to let in some fresh air. And fill your tank with gas to keep your engine running better. So you just see these examples more clearly and find out the verb phrases. And the verb phrases means you just find out the main verb in the sentence plus the helping verb which is used here, and how many verbs are used together, that is plus and plus, that is verb plus main verb plus the auxiliary verb or the helping verb in this sentence. So you just see these examples more clearly and find out the verb pattern or the verb phrase in the sentence. And more put it very simply, in linguistics is the language study or grammar of any language, so which is very different from languages, two languages, Malayalam, which is very different from English. The construction is the formulation of a word is very different. So an adjunct is an optional phase in a sentence or structurally indispensable part and a part of a sentence, clause, or phrase that if removed or discarded. So if we are removing a particular part of a sentence, so if we are removing basically on adjunct, will not otherwise affect the remainder of the rest of the sentences. For example, the sentence John helped Bill in the Central Park. So the phrase the Central Park is an adjunct. So when we are saying like the John helped Bill, so the sentence is complete but which is giving us more information about where John helped Bill. Okay, so in Central Park. So if we are removing the particular part of a sentence which is in Central Park, which will again giving us a meaning. So there will be removing of a meaning in a sentence, but it gives more clarity on where did John helped. Okay, next we are moving on to next function, next kind of verb phrase we are using in a sentence other than what main verb. Okay, so this is what we call phrasal verbs. So this is something that so a little bit more. And phrasal verbs is the combination of two or three words from different grammatical categories, a verb and a particle, such as an adverb or a preposition, and that is something to form a single semantic unit on a lexical syntactic level. For example, and we have a verb, a main verb plus a preposition. Okay, so it never takes the meaning we are already given for a verb or preposition. So it takes a entirely new meaning for that particular sentence. It never have the individual meaning of a verb and a preposition. That is the main difference of a phrasal verb. So we never need to think about the verb meaning or the prepositional meaning in that sentence, but it takes a entirely new meaning to that sentence. For example, the phrasal verbs like turn down or the phrasal verb like running to or sit up, it never takes the individual meaning of a verb and preposition. Okay, so if the two words can be understood literally, it's adverb and preposition. Okay, I have told you already that it may be a plus and plus of it may be of a verb, it may be of an adverb plus a preposition, but it never takes the individual meaning of that verb or an adverb or that preposition. And if they have to be taken together with a meaning that has little or nothing to do with the meaning of that word along, then it's a phrasal verb. So we have look up, put on. And so if we take individual meaning of look and up, it's like we are just wanted to raise your eyes and see what is up in our eyes. So but it never have that meaning of a look up, but it is if we have the particular meaning of that look up is we have to refer something in a book. Okay. And put on, it never takes the individual meaning of put and the preposition meaning of on here, but it takes the entirely new meaning, which is wear. And come across, get on, fill out, sit down, go out, carry on, bring up, give up. So there are lot many fun elements when we have dealt with the phrasal verbs, because lot many people, they are dealing with the individual meaning of that verb, and let's think about that individual meaning, but it's entirely very different when we have dealt with the phrasal verbs. So it's very fun with phrasal verbs and its examples. So you go on search for a lot many the fun elements in phrasal verbs. Okay, so these are verb and the phrasal verbs, and lot many examples. It's and thousands and thousands of phrasal verbs are there in English language. So that is something which gives extraordinary quality to the English sentences. Okay, so we have another set of things like expressions or English expressions, which is very different from any language, which has got a zillions of meaning construction or sentence constructions are there in English. So there we have a kind of sentences here, like phrasal verbs here, like get through with, keep up with, pick up, take after, check up on, get by, fill by, read over, put off, get over, bring up, use up, turn up. Also, these are some of the examples. So you just go on to find out lot many things and find out the meaning. Okay, and the phrasal verbs are here. Okay, after, look after, take after. Take after, what is the meaning of take after? So resemble somebody in your appearance. So I take after my mother means I look exactly like my mother. And take on means accept. I take on that job means I accept that job. And I take off means leave the ground and fly. And take back means return something. And take away means remove something from one place and put it in that other. And take down, take in means go and see something or visit a place. And take to means begin to do. And take around means show all the interesting features. Take out means go to a restaurant and pay for everything. So and take over, begin to have control of something. Okay, take up means start, begin something such as a job. That is, I take up a job. Okay. And in this I've told you that you go and find out the adjuncts and different kinds of verb phrases used in the short story Ruskin Bone's Eyes of the Cat. So this is how we have this short story. Her eyes seemed flecked with gold when the sun was on them, and as the sun set over the mountains, drawing a deep red wound across the sky, there was more than gold in Binya's eyes. There was anger, for she had been cut to the quick by some remarks her teacher had made, the culmination of weeks of insults and taunts. You just go and find out the verb phrase in the sentences which is used by Ruskin Bond to make the meaning more beautiful. Okay. Eyes of the cat. Next, Anton has a death of a clerk. So this is something very very funny story in which this is not a funny, but we are, well, while we read it, we will find out very funny. So you just go and read it, because this is the story of a clerk, so who sneezed in front of his official, not an officer of his same department, but another officer of another department. But he cannot sleep on that particular night on thinking that his sneezing, that is something that make his bald head piped or watered, and he's sneezing. Okay, so he went and apologized for forgiveness from the officer. But what happened is that officer, he thought it was a very silly thing, and he just said, I forgive you. But he can't sleep on that particular night. The next day he went on there, and another day he also went there. And what happened is that on that particular shock that I have piped on somebody, I have watered on somebody with my sneezing, that would happen is that is a heart failure for that particular clerk, and he died. So this is very funny. Well, you read it, you'll get a very a good reading when you read Anton Chico, that is the death of a clerk. And it is not something that you want to get the meaning or of that sentence, but you find the construction that Anton Chico used for the formulation of the meaning, or the expression that he used to construct the meaning of that particular short story. Okay, so this is how we have this like the first module introducing literature. Okay, so language and literary nuances, we have seen two here, that of adjunct and phrasal verbs. We shall see the other things in the next class. Okay, thank you.